Hi there. Welcome to Craft with Kathie. Thanks for joining me this evening. I have a quick little project to do and actually a little bit of life advice to share. Open up my can of Arnold here. It's Arnold time. And then we'll get right started with this. Quick, simple, easy thing. And a little bit of advice that sounds a little bit contradictory, and I suppose it is. This transfer is called progress, not perfection. And I'm sure for some people this is a difficult concept. And I know it was for me for a long, long time. And I'm better, but I'm not quite there yet. Sometimes I still get stymied by the reaching for perfection or whatever. And then I have to reality check, forget progression, see what I mean? Forget perfection. As long as you're making progress, you're going forward. That's a good thing. I'm coming at you from the suburbs west of Chicago. Drop me a line and let me know where you're viewing from this evening. Anyway, my point is, in the long run, as long as you're moving forward and you're moving towards your goals and you're making progress, you're going forward. It doesn't matter if it's baby steps, tiny little minute steps, or basically just crawling along a little bit. Forward is forward. It's like starting a diet and then slipping up and say, I'll start it again tomorrow. Why? If you slipped up and had one cookie today, so what? Overall, was your calorie intake in the range it was supposed to be? Did you do the exercise you needed to do or whatever else? Are you still moving towards your goal? If you're still moving towards your goal, why scrap the day and start over tomorrow? Progress, not perfection. And with that in mind, I'm going to show you how I really botched something up the other day. And see what you could tell me what you think is a nice way to remedy it. I've got something in mind, but I figure I'll see what kind of input I get, and maybe I'll take your advice and salvage it in some manner. I'm just going to quickly fuzz this transfer. The transfer is called Progress, Not Perfection. Pretty straightforward. I'm going to do multiple colors on this, and I'm going to do it on our 8-inch chalkboard. It is... Let me blow some of that chalk paste on. I had previously used this and just spritzed it with water and used my board scraper to clean it up and paper towel to wipe off the chalk paste, and I just had some chalk paste crumbs there. It's a distressed whitewashed board, reusable obviously, and it is actually porcelain magnetic surface, so you can actually stick a magnet to it if you wanted to. Okay, that's pretty good there. That's all I'm going for. I'm going to use my nominee for the word progress. I'm going to use bubbly for the not, and perfection I'm going to do in a couple different colors. And I suppose I should have had my large squeegee out here, my small squeegee, but I'm going to use a mini because that's what I have sitting out here. So, in keeping with the progress, not perfection, sometimes if we strive for perfection, we get so wrapped up in it that we do nothing. We're paralyzed with fear to move forward, and we're not moving forward at all. We're just stuck trying to figure out how we could be perfect, and we're actually moving nowhere. And that really doesn't help anything at all. So strive for progress. Don't worry about perfection. I'm not saying don't always try and do a good job. I always try and do a good job personally. But in reality, I've learned along the way finally that everything doesn't have to be perfect. When I was a teenager, my cousin and I took a needlecraft class. She conned me into it saying maybe we'll get the same class. And I really should take an easy class because I was in all college prep classes, and yeah, I was taking kind of a heavy load, whatever. So with the hope that we'd end up with in the same class, I enrolled in it. Well, unfortunately, we didn't end up in the same class. And both of us already knew how to crochet. Her mom had taught her, and her mom and my grandmother had taught me when I was around 10 years old or whatever. So we decided to make Afghans, which was somewhat of an ambitious project for the class. But, you know, she did something that she already knew the stitch. I did something totally new that I hadn't seen or whatever. I'm doing a little paste and peel here. I basically applied the paste with my squeegee, wiped it across my silk screen with my squeegee, and I'm lifting this up kind of like a paste and peel. I don't want my paste to dry in my silk screen because this is going to take me a little bit longer to work on. I'm going to do multiple colors on the word perfection. So with that in mind, I don't want any issue with the paint drying. So paste and peel, just lift it up. Peel it up after you've pasted, and then just gently set it back down. Do not press it down. I'm making sure that the word not and whatever underneath it, though, is on the board snugly. And I'm going to grab my bubbly and do the word not. So anyway, we both enrolled in this class, and we were making Afghans. I was doing something that was called macrame, but it really wasn't. It was actually Queen Anne's lace was the pattern. And I'm thinking, I know she wasn't doing granny squares. I'm not quite sure. I think a shell pattern. But anyway, she found one day that she made a mistake and missed a couple stitches about 8 inches back. And I remember watching her tear out 8 inches of that Afghan to go back there and fix it. And I probably would have done the same dang thing, seriously. Because you're making something, it has to be perfect, or does it, right? Now with an Afghan, it wouldn't be that easy to actually hide that type of a mistake, but considering that she was making it for her boyfriend, it had to be perfect. So she tore it out and added probably another 20 hours to the work that she put on it, or would have to put into it to finish it, because it had to be perfect. A little bit of an extreme example, but I get it totally, because I was much the same way. But I finally learned to look more at my progress and see if I'm moving forward. Yes, I make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. Heck, that's why pencils have erasers, right? Back to the paste and peel. I'm going to lift the rest of this up, or lift up the word not. And it is sticking kind of snugly to my board. You notice that? That's because it's the porcelain board, and it is very, very smooth. The porcelain magnetic board is so smooth that your transfer sticks very, very snugly. So generally you want to be a little bit more cautious, and if you're doing something that you're not going to do like one and done or multiple colors, use the paste and peel technique. It makes it a lot easier. The other thing is we're using chalkboard, so you can make a mistake here and then wipe it off and do it again, or wipe off just the area that you made the mistake and do it again. So chalkboard makes it easy to recover from mistakes. But anyway, what I finally learned is that at the end of the day, look at what you've done. Have you gone forward? Have you gone backwards? Are you making progress? Are you moving along? Did you do your best? I'm not saying be sloppy, because that would be foolish, right? But did you do your best? And if you did you make progress forward? And that's really all that counts. If you're moving forward and you're doing your best, isn't that better than perfection? Why beat yourself up and give yourself a hard time striving for perfection? It's nice to achieve it, but let's be real. We're people. And so I'm going to use a couple different colors here. Hopefully I haven't run out of squeegees. I had a bunch of them set out here. Let me clean this one up. I'm going to clean these two up. So with all that in mind, I thought it was time to take this transfer, put it on a sign, and set it out there as a gentle reminder to myself to just strive for progress. Aim for perfection, but don't beat yourself up. As long as you're doing your best and you're going forward, you're moving in the right direction. Let me clean up my fingers a little bit, and I will show you what I botched up the other day. I did some positive affirmations on a palette board, which I don't have sitting close by enough to me to show you. But after I was done with it, I decided to do it on a canvas. And I thought it turned out pretty good, except being it was canvas, and I used paste because I didn't intend on it being washable, it was light in a couple areas. So I washed my transfer, laid it back down, and went over it again. But here it was not lined up. So you could see where I've got a double image of the letters. So I've got a pretty big oops on here, and it's fabric, so I can't really wash it off of it. So I'm looking at this saying, how am I going to recover from this? And I'm looking at it as a Bob Ross happy accident. What would you do to salvage this project? Let me know. Drop me a line in the comments. Tell me what you're thinking, how you'd approach it. I'm curious to see. I've got an idea in mind, but that doesn't mean I'm going to go through with that idea. I'm kind of hesitant. But I could either throw it out or I could salvage it, right? It wasn't very expensive, more my time than anything else. But I think I'm going to go along the lines of Bob Ross and a happy accident and salvage it instead of tossing it. What do you think? Should I try and salvage it? Or should I just toss it out? Or should I cut it off? What would you do? Okay, I think I know I had 4 colors out here. Oh, the bubbly. I forgot about the bubbly. And I'm going to have to go over and come back with the bubbly because I'm out of squeegees. So let me do this E in the glacier. Oops, I went right into the C there. Talk about making mistakes, right? Let me grab my little detail tool here, being that I can't seem to lift this up. See if that went through. It did go through. Let me clean it up. And I'm going to try and clean that transfer. This will be a little interesting. First, my water bottle. I'm living dangerously over here. I have my Arnold Palmer right by my laptop. It's not my brightest move. I'm a little clumsy. What could I say? Just try and clean the silk screen there. I'm stuck to the transfer. There we go. And lay that down, and I'll hit that with the bubbly. I know I had more than 4. Oops. Do you see? Seriously clumsy, right? Fell right into my paste. Oh, I guess I need to pay a little bit more attention to what I'm doing and not what I'm saying here. Let me do my other colors real quick. And then I'll clean my squeegee and come back and do that F. Well, here's where things went south. When I lifted up the transfer to clean it up, I think I smudged the E because I ended up with a line through it. I had hoped when it dried that it wouldn't be noticeable. However, as you can see from the thumbnail, it is a little bit noticeable. And I am trying to fight the urge to not fix it. But I think I'm going to clean up, remove that one letter, put the transfer back down, and fix it. It's a quick little thing. I know I'm striving for perfection, but if it's only going to take 5 minutes, I think it's worth the time. Did you see I actually dropped the squeegee into the container of the Glacier Blue paste? I had to fish it out. Like I said, a little clumsy, what could I do? Anyway, I'm just trying to make sure that I have my sequence of colors in the right order and that I follow through properly, repeating the glacier, the sunset shimmer, the green, and then the bubbly. Okay, we clean things up a little bit here. Put my glacier on my O. If you've ever wondered what it's like to be a designer, comment team below and I'll send you some information. I'd love to see you join my team, whether as a hobbyist or to earn some side money, a side hustle, or to create your own enterprise. Everyone's welcome. Oh yes, Tipsy Tuesday, Terry. Thank you. Now all I have to do is remember what my tip was today. I did have something in mind and I can't remember what it was. I'll think of it. I think I gave it away a little bit the other day. Okay, let's do a paste and let's do the peel on this and see how it looks. Do I have to do any repair work or is it going to be okay? And then I'll get into the tip. Okay, what do you think? Progress, not perfection. My nominee is still wet, so it's a little discolored. It's still drying. I have a little bit of a bleed or a little smudge on the E for perfection, but I'm going to set this aside to dry. And sometimes when it dries, it'll be fine. Sometimes it's not. If not, I'll just wash off that one letter and go back and fix it. Okay, my tip, and I kind of spilled this the other day, but I wanted to actually share it for today. So my tip for Tuesday, Tipsy Tuesday, is this. If your paste is dry, you left the cap off, you just haven't used it in a long time, whatever. You know, our chalk paste is made from chalk, so it has a tendency to dry out if you leave it uncapped, which I'm really good at doing, right? And the best thing to do to reconstitute it is to just add a little bit of distilled water to it. And the reason that you want to use distilled water is you don't want to add any chemicals that might be in your water to the pigments of the paste. You don't want to actually alter the color or anything by using tap water with your paste. So if you find yourself in a situation where your paste needs to be reconstituted a little bit and you do not have any distilled water, I found myself in just that predicament the other day. Here's what you do. Take a little color tray or a little saucer or a little dish, obviously a clean one. I was using this for the holder of my squeegees the other day, and put a little dab of paste in there, about how much you think you're going to need. Then grab a stir stick or something that is not wood that you could stir with, spritz a little bit of, or put a couple drops of water in there, that regular water if you only have tap, and mix it up in the little tray and then use that. Don't add your tap water to the whole jar, because if there is some change in pigmentation, then the whole jar has been, the color's been changed there. Just add it to what you're going to use for that particular project or for that day. And, you know, because sometimes we end up in a pinch and we don't have distilled water when we think we do. So that's my tip for today, to work around when you don't have it. Easy solution without too much of a ramification if it does go south, right? So let me know what you're thinking as to what I should do with this banner to recover from my little oops. What would you do? How would you handle this little double lettering because I didn't have it lined up right? I have a tendency to not have a lot of patience sometimes, and I guess I was in a hurry. I checked the top, everything looked good, I was zipping along, and when I lifted it, I said, oops. So how would you recover from this? If I want to go along the lines of Bob Ross and make it into a happy accident, which I think that's the road I'm going to take, what would you suggest that I do to recover from it? Drop me a comment, let me know what you think. Thanks for joining me. This has been a nice, short, quick little project. Lots of fun tonight. I appreciate you viewing. I'm wishing everyone a happy 2024. I wish you lots of good health, fun, lots of crafting fun, joy, and love. See you soon.